Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Busisiwe Mahlangu, and then I'm going to recite a piece before I tell you where you can find me, and then, yeah, we'll take it from there. So the first poem I wrote for my first boyfriend. He was very persistent on the subject of sex, and so I wrote this as a diary entry, a reply as his victim, and it goes like this. My body. My body is an island that divorced home, drifting from mother's womb, heading to the ocean's stomach. You don't want to die here. My soul is a sudden explosion when fingers forget to keep a promise. The bones in my body are like needles on my flesh, an atrophic fold in the waist, a victim of rape where pins and needles and numb lips are facing fear. You carry on as if you understand what it means to be touched against your will, but you still don't know where it hurts. I am an immigrant in this land called life, a refugee who forgot what home feels like on her tongue. Does it burn the saliva to know that you can sleep on your own bed tonight? Or does it freeze the taste buds when you come back home and all the children in your yard run to you to see what you've brought, clinging onto your plastic bags in search of something sweet? So tell me, what does home taste like now? Because to some of us, home is just a fading memory. And the man that came before you ripped apart the idea of what home used to be, left it at mist, and by afternoon the dew was gone and the soil could never testify that it was once wet. That is why every time you try to caress me, your fingers glisters nothing but dryness. In the heat of kissing and touching, my body can't boil enough for yours. My thighs are borders, always trying to keep this flesh safe, trying to close all the open pores, learning how to excrete tears beneath the skin, turning into a grave within, because a man who came before you, a man who looks like you, a man who sounds like you, the same man that you claim you've left behind because you've changed, well, that man took all that I've saved for you. All the forgiveness I could give, took all that I've saved for myself, all the healing I need, took me away from this world, took everything and left. So today, I'm scared of finding myself. I fear that I'll find bones. I fear that I'll find nothing, because me will only just disappear me. I won't have a name when you're done. I will only be a corpse, a half-dead woman testifying to the cops while you gallivant the streets boasting about how sweet a woman's no sounds too sweet to your ears. You don't come here anymore. You're no longer a victim of my presence, of my questions. You don't come here anymore, but instead, you've opened up a school teaching young boys and men how to disrespect a woman, how to snatch no from our throats, how to live without us, how to move without us, how to treat us as if we are invisible. You are a prisoner in the jail of my heart. I'm still learning to forgive you, but you still haven't apologized. You carry on as if you're not a rapist, as if the word disgusts you, as if it still tastes from your mouth. You have nothing to say but shame. Hold up your hoodie and walk the streets as if you own them. Turn another victim like me into a prison, a home that will never be lived in. Thank you. The second poem it goes like this. I can't explain it, and it doesn't have a title, so it goes like this. There is a tale in our hidings, how we find a need to roast our names and disappear. There's no place to hide. In a township that renders silence, the streets bury our language. The screams of mother and child camouflage into a musical plane of norm. No one comes to help anymore. They drown into their beds and cook their dreams underwater as if their neighbor's struggle is no longer a reality. There is a story behind how we slash makeup on our faces, uneven, layering slopes on our skin because our flesh became a grave that turned violence into a funeral of justice. Every day we pray that a man's fist never kill us. We pray that even those men we meet in public spaces never sense our fear, never smell our disgust when they shove us aside as women, weak and unnecessary. There is a complete novel about how every suitcase and luggage bag in my home was burnt, along with all the Bibles. My father had a way of reducing our freedom to ashes, always reminding us that this two-room shack will always be a prison, but we kept on making excuses for him, called manslaughter, discipline, called his actions anything but sin, called our bruises, tattoos, and our wounds birthmarks, drank our tears as wine, and went to bed in our sorrows so that we can master the skill of dying in our sleep. I don't understand what freedom means because we are always hanging from the upside down question marks that we've created to kill confusion. Our questions conclude the last sentence in our obituary, written in white ink to symbolize our silence. Selective listening is a poison to humanity. We only listen to what favors us. Countries will burn in the hands of selfish oppressors. And if they are oppressors, of course they are selfish, who tell us to forget that we are regarded as God's stepchild, to forget apartheid because we are born free, disregarding the fact that this kind of damage is a generational burden. But we kept on making excuses for them too. And they will tell us that we are comfortable in being victims. Thank you. This poem is titled Dead Soldiers, and it goes like this. Soldiers come home from war, with their last breath jumping from finger to finger, counting whose son has died on the front and left behind like litter. Their palms exuding expectations, ready to celebrate a second-hand freedom, limbs cut out by chains, gunshots confining mind from believing in a tangible reality. They vowed before the nose of a breathless pistol that they will leave until they see roses blooming out of concrete, that they will see concrete. So they walked with their feet falling behind, throwing their eyes to the distance of burnt houses they don't recognize as home. Nobody told them that soldiers are useless after war, broken and brittle, too weak to wear abounding boots. So they walk this road. They walk this road to sickness, illness, unemployment, chains on their hands, chains on their minds, chains on their stomach, broken. Soldiers come home from war. Soldiers come home to war, to decay, to lose the plot of freedom and die. Thank you so much. And this will be my last piece. And before that, you can find me on Twitter. It's at Busi the Poet. And then on Facebook, it's Busisiwe Mahlangu. On Instagram is Mahlangu Veronica. Okay. My last piece is titled Rock, Paper, Scissors, and it goes like this. When I was a child, I couldn't wait for the evening to visit, for the darkness to swallow the light, and play hide and seek in the woods with friends, sometimes alone. The game asked no questions or begged for replies, but left room for a little prayer to descend with a concern if we never find what we seek. But rock, paper, scissors has left my hands in chains. The rocks of this fate crushed my nails. It won't be long until the scissors of righteousness cut away my flesh And the only way to stop the bleeding is to wear paper as a bandage. Bandage is another name for mask. My tongue is burning with questions. My mouth is full of centuries of confusion. I try to place my hand over the Bible. There are so many conversations I wish to start with God about his identity. Instead, I ask how to play rock, paper, scissors in the spiritual frame, but his voice is lost somewhere in my head, so I pretend he said yes and carry on, rock, paper, scissors, and carry on, rock, paper, scissors, and carry on, rock. In the middle of worship, my mother yells something along the lines of, "The Lord is my rock," but I failed to form the same sentence. A few days ago, they called me a stoner, searching for direction in cocaine lines. Yes, I crushed crack like my skin was made out of rock, so forgive me if I failed to relate God to a word that has stained my reality. So I carry on, rock, paper, scissors. I carry on, rock, paper, scissors. I carry on, paper. My Bible is made out of paper. So are all these suicide notes. Old women, men, and mothers look at me with eyes casting stones of judgment. Some ask, "Why didn't you choose a much easier addiction?" I tell them I write poetry in every piece of paper I find. So it is difficult to bend the truth in these pages. I crawl my way to every stage, hold onto the mic as if it is the cross that will crucify all my addictions. They call me a poet. They call me a poet. But they don't know that I'm only just a patient attending an AA meeting on stage, updating them about my progress. It's been 6 months since I've touched a bottle of liquor. Rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, scissors. We are now on scissors. Scissors. We are now on scissors. The knives of suicide. But the Lord took away the blades and gave me a pen to write my story instead. Rock, paper, pens.